So my name is Ben Craig. I work for InfoSec People. I head up the contract division here, specialising in IT and cybersecurity. So I am here to discuss the inner workings of a recruitment consultancy, specifically in the contract market. I've also been asked a couple of questions by clients of mine, and I'm hoping that the answers I provide and the oversight that we give today will enable people to streamline their recruitment process, save them money, and hopefully get a bit of added value from their current recruitment partners. The best way to keep within the hiring budget is to find out how much your recruitment consultant are charging you per contractor. Typically, there's two main ways that recruiters can charge their clients. The first method is an all-in cost. As an example, if you engage an agency to find you a program manager and you say, I want to pay no more than £800 a day, they'll go off and find you somebody, and sure enough, you'll pay no more than £800 a day. This method can actually cause problems further down the line, as it's not transparent to the contractor how much they're actually being charged in at. We'll come on to this later on in the video. The second way of doing things, which I personally believe is better, is a fixed percentage on top of the contractor's day rate. What good looks like in that space is between 10 and 15%. However, if you're looking for a more senior hire, as an example, an interim CTO, you may look to be paying upwards of 20%. So the best way to work with a recruiter is to understand actually who they are and how their business operates. A service goes two ways. Of course, it's cost-led, and of course value. What value are they providing you as a recruitment consultant, rather than the stereotypical salesperson that we hear so much about on LinkedIn and of course in the press. Now, what I would recommend is that you're working with an agency who offer a service where they contact their contractors regularly. You need to know whether your contractors are happy, and of course some organisations don't feel comfortable actually asking the contractor themselves. The reason being, it can spark unrest with the contractor. Contractors asking themselves, why is this question being asked? So you need to be confident that you've got a recruiter that you're working with, where you have that relationship where you can ask them to almost ask the hard questions. The reason why contractors do feel undervalued, realistically, 9 times out of 10, is because they don't ever really hear from their agency until it's time for a renewal, and of course they hear horror stories about other contractors being underpaid, so they automatically feel, is that happening to me? Now, that in itself is quite powerful, because of course if you're working for an organisation and you hear that your other colleagues might be getting paid more than you for doing the same job, it's going to cause some level of unrest. Now, with regards to being underpaid and undervalued, the easiest way to nip that one in the bud, if you work for a client or from a technical or procurement perspective, is to ensure that they're aware of exactly how much they're being charged in at. Now, as an example, when I recruit for a client, I'm always fully transparent with the contractors that I work with exactly how much I'm making off of their day rate. Now, what that means to the business is they're not going to have an angry contractor banging the door down when they find out that Dave, one desk over, is getting paid an additional £60 a day for doing the same thing. But what it also combats as well is several people finding that out and leaving the business in a cloud of smoke, which then leaves your organisation with a team of contractors who have just decided to up and leave because they feel undervalued from being underpaid. The best way to combat that, in my opinion, is to ensure that the issue never arises by making sure that everybody is fully in the know of where they stand from day one. Contractors, they are expensive, admittedly. However, in the grander scheme of things, you've got to look at the value that they provide to the organisation. Now, if they're working on, say, a greenfield system development, which is worth, say, millions to the business, you need that skill in as soon as possible so they can start building what you're trying to implement. With regards to them being expensive, I believe, of course, it's because they get paid a day rate rather than salaried. However, they bring a certain level of expertise to the organisation that you might not find from a permanent hire, and of course, they add value from day one. So when you're working with contractors to stop yourself from incurring additional costs, it's again to ensure that there will be no rate increases midway through the contract. And again, that goes down to what we alluded to earlier with regards to rates, making sure that the rates are agreed, the contractor's happy with what they're being paid, you're happy with what they're being charged. That way, you should, in essence, not come up against any additional cost midway through the contract. I would always say is to really run through thoroughly with your recruiter their terms of business to ensure that won't happen, and if it does, it's because you're actually leading that by saying the contract is doing ever so well, we want to keep them on, can we pay them slightly more? But of course, if that happens, make sure that they're getting the full amount that you're looking to pay extra, and of course your agency aren't adding an additional cost on top of that. So normally I say to my clients to engage me throughout the requirements gathering phase. Now, I wouldn't want to have a conversation with HR about a program of work that the digital team are working on. The best way to engage me when you have these large-scale programs of work coming up is through that requirements gathering phase, because I can find out and qualify exactly what type of person the organization's looking for, how many are needed, what will they be working on, what particular skill sets are going to be needed for this program to get off the ground. What I can then do is go out to my network and find those people for you. We can get them through the interview process, engage them in what it is that you're looking to try and do, and ensure that you have your team up and running from day one rather than drip feeding people in throughout the assignment. So there's various different ways of finding the best talent. Again, you can use recruiters, but what I probably would say is the best way to find the best talent is by speaking to the talent you've already got. Because sure enough, if you've got a team of 10 developers and 5 testers and you need a developer and a tester, there's always going to be somebody you would hope in their network that they know that they can introduce to your business at no additional finder's fee, other than maybe a bottle of wine for the person who did that. Thank you for those of you that have decided to watch the video today. I really do hope it's been helpful. What I want to stress is that this isn't a video about recruitment bashing. There's so many good recruitment consultants out there who probably will genuinely care about your business and the people they supply you with. What I would say is I hope this video has been insightful around how you can streamline your recruitment process, make sure that you're not paying silly fees for people that you're in desperate need of, but also as well as that, and more importantly, how to tell the difference between a good recruitment consultant and an excellent salesperson.